All right, guys. Sean here, Unpaved. Welcome. Hope you had a great week. Welcome in, should I say. Hope you had a great weekend. It's great to be with you. Chipper Jones will join us this week, among others. Look forward to having him on. And we'll keep you updated on the exact times. I straighten out the brim of my cap here. Great to have you on, joining us on a Monday, and a lot going on. And, in preseason, and JB, I'll bring him in just a second. Preseason football, while there's a lot of matchups, it seems like stuff everybody always wants to talk about in preseason, because it feels like, and it's not the only one, but it feels like when you're watching it that all the competition is just at the quarterback position, which is wrong, because veterans that have been in the league a while, they're going to be casualty. They're going to be cut from their team because they either make too much money, underperforming, or just they're at the stage when it's time and they may land somewhere else. So you'll keep an eye on the waiver wire for, teams that are looking for a KG veteran or a mid-level veteran pay scale wise that can come and help your team as a backup or maybe fill in. We see it happen all the time. But it's weird when you go into – we don't talk about – hey, unless you're a local, we don't talk about the right guard competition on a team or the backup defensive tackle. Not that it's not important, because it is very important. It's very important for me. And I think, well, obviously for them. But we focus more on that stuff while the season's going on. We always like the competitions that are happening that are almost – we can see better. They're on the perimeter. They're more talked about, all those things. So I get it. And then we're going to add to that today, because the quarterback competitions are, it feels to me like more loud and at times for all of us obnoxious and overstated and overrated, but they're not to those guys, but because it feels like it's the same thing all the time, whether it's the Giants, the Browns, the Saints, what's going on with the Cowboys backup, but they're all relevant, man. And they all will matter at some point in the season. And all those teams I just named, if you're the Cowboys, you don't want to have to play your backup right now, I assure you. So we'll get into all that, but just so you know, there is competition in other places. Strong safety for some teams, at corner for others, and who's the backup center, all those things that matter, but we don't seem to discuss that in the preseason until, the right guard's not blocking, or until cuts come up. But in performance in preseason games and practice, if you're not at practice, it's hard to figure out who the guy is. If you're not seeing it, we can see the tangible stuff with our eyes because you watch it on TV or talk to those that are coaching it or playing it on those current teams. So I will. I'll bring in JB there, but before we get started on football, real quick, our buddy Pat Perez, who's big golf, and congrats to John Rahm, who won again. Coach JB, is he there? Triple E, is JB here? Yeah, like our guy John Rahm, who won again, and he just keeps dominating the top of that list. Won again, meaning the overall championship and the live. But just real quick, JB, I know we don't spend a lot of time talking golf, although I'd love to talk more of it, but I know that football is popular and all the other stuff. Scotty Scheffler, man. And it's not fair over the course of time, and welcome in. I hope your weekend's good. I know you're on vacation and got a lot going on and stuff getting stuff organized for you as football season approaches. But, Scheffler wins again, down 4 strokes. By the 5th hole, he had tied it and then went on to win it and hit the Tiger-like shot from the 16 at Augusta, and at the Memorial, the one that he chipped in as well. With Scotty Scheffler, JB, I'll tell you, listen, I grew up I've been fortunate to see all 3 eras. The Jack Nicklaus, see a lot of that, not the beginning part of it when winding down, but followed it. The Tiger Woods time and this, and then now this Scotty Scheffler time. May be unfair, and I'm not talking about over the course of career, because Tiger did it longer, better, and had a more out, like intimidating personality out, because he, was a little, Scotty's probably a little more understated than Tiger, the Reds on Sunday and all the stuff that Tiger did. That's okay. They do it with Tiger, the popularity, all the stuff he went through, off the golf course, but love him. And I have a tendency to lean towards him. But if you just took Scheffler's last 3 years and compared it to Tiger's best 3 years, not the whole course of career, it's Tiger. Damn, dude, we're in the rarefied air. He's in the team picture. There, you do have an argument if you're Scotty Scheffler. Now, I know the attitude and the stare it down and intimidation and Tiger and all the majors, but what's Scheffler not doing that Tiger did? And in that, forget the metrics. If you put like greens and regulation, pressure shots, closing out tournaments, making key putts. Now, the popularity, Tiger's far bigger because more global, and Scotty's just to stay at home. He's a dad and has different priorities and all of that. But just pure golf. I'm not talking about anything else, not marketing impact, all those stuff that Tiger's off the charts in Tiger's game. But at one point in time, Tiger's a great driver of the golf ball, great. But if he sprayed it, he could scramble as well as anybody. He can hit a 200-yard bunker shot to 5 feet. Scheffler can too. Scheffler, when he needs to dial up 300-plus yards and hit it in the fairway, does. Move shots both ways, whether his ball flight's a normal cut shot, he can still draw it when necessary. He's a great putter, even though, when I say great putter in moments you need to, that 5 or 6 footer, even though he 3-putted a green yesterday, he overcame it the next time. He makes those putts you have to, even though like Sam Burns, there's better putters in the world, but in clutch, he's the best. Tiger Woods, same way. Jack Nicklaus was the same way. With short irons, he hits it where he wants. Long irons, you draw a circle on the green of a 3x3, and he'll find the circle most of the time under pressure. For the best 3 years of both of them, just from the eye test, how are we not? Scheffler belongs in the conversation, does he not?
Yeah, I don't know if the competition's the same though, just because of what's happening with live separation and all that. I don't know if he's got to play on a week in out basis.
Yeah, but how many times did Tiger play against Rahm and DeChambeau though, at his best?
But he had Mickelson at his best, and those guys ain't Mickelson yet, in my opinion.
But is it McIlroy getting close?
Maybe, but he's so inconsistent. At least Mickelson was pretty consistent when he started winning green jackets and shit, winning majors, finally getting over the hump. And then you had some guys on the end going out as Tiger was entering that I believe are much better than the guys on this end that are leaving golf, because we don't even have – name me a legend that's on his way out right now of golf. You can't name me one.
One do you look at and say, man, he's close to retiring?
Yeah,
like he's going to go on the senior tour and he's dominating.
Give me a Freddie Couples or a guy on his way out that is like, oh,
you're
shit.
saying the bottom end depth is better then than it is now. As far as golfers, not hitting it longer, just golf.
No, yeah, just pure competition on a week in, week out, mind game, overall consistency, short game. The long game.
Even the equipment too. Even Tiger started it, but it started to. I mean, we're getting to the point where you can be an average driver of the golf ball and you're pumping at 290, dude.
Ah, shit. I mean, Tiger was 330 and was the longest we've seen in how long?
And that was not on a regular basis. Tiger 295, 297. Yeah. Dial up the distance as the equipment changed when he needed to, but more of. I guess what I'm saying, and I'm agreeing with you more now. Scheffler's a shot maker as well. He's in that category. You're talking about the depth of it, where we're more, you can bring the course to its knees if you can just pound it. Because you're hitting 7 irons even if you go further back than Tiger, when guys like Freddie Couples had to hit 5 irons into greens early in his career, we're seeing guys, dude, they're on a par 5, they're going driver, hitting an 8 iron, depending on the weather, 200 yards. I know they bend their clubs different with loft, but damn. So, but it is a conversation. Let me ask you this. List me your 5 best players over the last 2.5 decades.
2.5 decades.
Yeah, just kind of in your mind, because I want to get Tiger at his best. The Phil, like you talking to McIlroy. If you're taking 5, we're putting a basketball team together of golfers. The 5 best in your mind, I'm taking them to battle any 5 on the planet, or the other 5 they're going to play, or the other 5 from a different era. But just the last 25 years, and you get to use the Euros too. You use whether you're from, I don't care if it's South America, if you like Miguel Angel Cabrera, Angel Cabrera, because he's been, he won a couple green jackets, or one for sure. If you like, I'm kidding about Cabrera, but you get my point. I don't care. Just the last 25 to 30 years of when they're in their prime, the guys, how we label them. So that goes through Phil Mickelson and even some of Freddie Couples, right? When did Couples win that Augusta where he, number 12, he hit it in the slope and chipped up? It's had to be pushing. We're in the 20s plus, right? But just the last 2.5 decades, the golfers, we'll pick 5, and then you can pick the other 5 you wanted to compete against another era. So Tiger and Scheffler and Mickelson are definitely in it, correct? At their best.
Tiger, Scheffler, Mickelson. I would also throw, I'd probably have to throw Koepka, DJ, and Spieth in there. I'm being honest.
Right. We're not just talking about this in the last couple of years of Spieth. You're exactly right. We're talking about when he's at his best. Well, hell, Gary Player still thinks he's the best player in the world. So Scheffler and Tiger, Scheffler, and Mickelson for sure. Now, other names that you mentioned, Spieth, Brooks Koepka, run 5 majors and has been
DJ
money. Dustin Johnson. McElroy has to be in the conversation. He's in
the conversation, but so is like VJ Singh and Sergio Garcia and Adam
but Sergio, but VJ still. I'm putting VJ the era before the prime Tiger. I mean, the last 25. Is that fair? Because VJ's on the senior tour. So how old? Well, I guess what's VJ now? 60?
15 years ago, though, he was winning.
60, 45, consistent player.
Yeah,
consistent.
If you go 20 years, though, I would say VJ's in early 2000s, he was pretty damn elite. He was top 5. So
if I take at their best.
But I'm with you. I would it would be a tough one. But Sergio Garcia, then Adam Scott. Adam
Scott's been a consistent player. I'm going to take, for me, just saying, and I know we're missing a bunch of really good players. I mean, but you got to leave somebody out. For me, the 3 for sure: Tiger, Scheffler, Phil. And for major turn, I mean, like at the best of the best, we want to play on the toughest course majors, like with a major feel, right, JB? I'd be hard pressed. Koepka and Rory McIlroy would be hard for me to leave off the list as my next 2. Consider DJ if we're looking for that talent, but it feels like DJ has to have great. I mean, when competition ramps up on the PGA Tour, I think money made him to the point. And I don't mean it disrespectful. I get it. Where the Live Tour, while important, and he's got so much abilities. You saw him, he shoot 20 under this past weekend. But I don't know if it's the top, the main priority for him outside of family, right? You know what I'm saying? I think but potential-wise, no doubt.
If you do it like this, if you broke it down like Pat and him when we're bullshitting at his house, they break it down. Golfers have their own code.
Oh, yeah.
If you get a major win, it's 7 points.
Okay.
If you get a Players Championship win, it's 5. If you get a FedEx Cup win or a Memorial or a Bay Hill, it's 3.
Like the ones that the non-majors, the one where like the Tour Championship or the one at Sawgrass, the Players Championship. Then the next level of top tier, like the go-to tournaments, Memorial, Torrey Pines, Pebble Beach, right?
Olympics, WGC, and if you get a Euro Tour win or a PGA Tour win, it's a 1 point. And if you're a top 5 at a major or top 3 at the Players, either one of those, top 5 at a major, top 3 at the Players, you get 1 point. So here's just real quick, and I'm just spitballing, but DJ has 61 points in the last 12 years. He leads everybody. Rory's 54, second. Koepka would be third. And Spieth would be 4th, followed by Jason Day. And then on the outskirts, you got, Bubba Watson, Patrick Reed, Matsuyama, Bryson DeChambeau, Rahm, Tiger even still. You got Justin Thomas. And then you got Adam Scott and, those guys.
Judging just from like the dominant you get from majors, it'd be hard for me to leave off.
That's from 13, though. Right? That's just from 13. That's just from 2013.
So that's 12 years. So you add another 13 years to it, and you're 25 or even 20 years.
And here's the crazy part, Sean. 44 points belongs to Koepka in half the starts as those other guys.
Oh, dude, he was money in every major that showed up.
He would easily be
already. He was the choice.
He'd be one. He'd be one. If it was all relative, he'd be 1. I
got to take him just because I think he's got big balls and big tournaments, and he loves to compete. Yeah, but
great dude to drink with.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of him. He's one of us, and but the list starts. The 3 at the top got to be Tiger, Scheffler, Phil, right, to start in our 5, right? But Scheffler's he's in the conversation now with the way he's playing. He's dominating right now about as much as anybody does in any sport in his own sport. It's a fun argument. We'll never know because we'll never see Tiger and him head-to-head at their best. But, man, what a head-to-head that'd be, man. And if Scheffler was Tiger's personality-wise, people are craving or had that feel, dude, the global part, not that matters to him, that's fine. But, man alive, as just a pure golfer and clutch shots, that shot on 17, I watched every single swing from the time he took. I wouldn't feel I just stayed on it and watched all day long, every single shot. And, dude, for the way he hits it to where he wants to and his distance control is sick, absolutely sickening. All right, brother, let's switch to some football. It's kind of an all-quarterback day because that's the talk and chatter. I'm going to start with a hot button for you, and I thought he did some good things. I'll tell you a few throws. The timing of the slant, the timing of a seam route, he actually made some really, really good throws in a short time. It's preseason temper. We're just going.
Wait, you mean Lamar? Is it Lamar saying he loved Jesus?
No, it's not that. Yeah. People criticize him because of religion. People on social media are the dumbest.
It ain't people. It's fucking liberals. I'm just telling you right now. They become.
When I say people, that's what I'm talking about. Liberals. I don't know anybody that's a Christ follower that even if you're not, that criticizes somebody about their religion, unless, of course, it's a religion that wants to take over and is a is a violent religion. Okay, other than that,
the one to Michigan.
Yeah, well, you see that, but this is not it. Lamar Jackson should never quit tweeting about religion if he wants to. It's sick.
It's unbelievable. I don't know what happened to our country. I don't know when that.
I'll tell you. Well, you know what happened. It starts with an L and ends with an S, and there's a couple vowels in between. Yeah, all right, so let's go to this. Caleb Williams played good football. I actually thought he looked in command, looked his timing and he threw 10 balls, I think was 6-10. But I'm not worried about the result. I'm worried about he got to the result. And I actually was impressed in a short stint with the way the ball came out, JB. And he looked a little more calm and didn't look to me overly, oh my gosh, I got to go make a play with my feet. There was a little more patience in delivering the football. And it was with accuracy and on time, which led to one touchdown, but a couple of good throws that are NFL throws he had to make, like the seam route in that same first quarter.
Yeah, listen, here's the knock I have on him is the fact that why didn't he play in any other games this preseason? And we started to see an uprise in veterans playing, and I've seen it more and more. And guess what? Preseason actually looked a little bit more like a real football game because the simple fact that starters played more, quarterbacks that matter played, except for him. And he played finally last night against who? Third string guys on the cut line. So, yeah, he looked good. He looked on time. He looked in rhythm and all that stuff. But I would not even
go by the bodies. But I'm just looking for his. If I was just looking at the mechanics of the play,
look good.
Of course, the competition is going to get better. But I'd rather have him do that than go 0-10 and be late.
No, I just wish I would have saw a couple more bodies of work in this preseason from him.
Well, is it on him or is it on Ben Johnson?
Yeah, we don't know. I don't know, but that's my point. Either way,
did he beg out and not want to play, but he did some good things.
Nah, I don't think. Either way, I would like to have saw him. Like I just don't understand the rationale. He came off a year last year where they lose 10 in a row. They were in some close games. You got a new head coach who's a play caller subsequently, and this guy don't play. This to me is shocking. Now listen, you can talk about it. He put up 528 yards last night against the Bills. Nobodies. And we can talk about all that stuff we want. And he had 317 yards of offense in the first half in the NFL. Even if it's a preseason game versus cut guys, it's still impressive. We can say all that we want. But at the end of the day, Sean, I don't understand the head coach play caller with the quarterback that's new to him, who's very heavily scrutinized by myself and everybody else for his off-the-field antics. Why don't we get that continuity going? I just don't. To me, it's law. To me, it blows my mind. But for me and you standpoint, watching the guy from the sideline, he looked great. On time, threw the seam ball to the tight end as soon as he cleared the mic in the cover 2 hole. He threw
a big route backed up. He went 3 and a hitch and threw it into the window. He did a nice. He threw the over route, the over route.
Yeah, the most impressive thing he did to me, Sean, was throw the ball away.
Well, which young quarterbacks, and to the point, don't learn that soon enough. They play hero ball. He didn't play hero ball in this one, which was nice.
Last year, he'd have fucking ran around and he threw it away. Hey, 1, 2, 3. I don't like 1. I don't like 2. 3 game cloudy. Throw it away. I like this. Maybe that's Ben Johnson.
Sometimes the best play in football that you can do for a quarterback. No doubt about it.
Yeah, and so you know what sucks, Sean, and I was talking to somebody yesterday in the NFL currently, and they said that nowadays with betting on the uprise and money depending on your stats and all these analytics, they are so scared to throw the fucking ball away or take a sack, Sean, because guess what? The sack hurts their numbers in the rush game. And then
they don't care about that though.
Yeah, they don't give a, and he's throwing away. Guess what? It hurts my percentage and my QBR. Are you shitting me? They really told me this is from an NFL guy right now on his staff, Sean. They said that is a real thing that coaches are having to kick out of them and say, throw the fucking ball away.
I heard from a person who was close to a situation a couple years ago, and it's gotten worse. So, and I'd been talking about this on my local show for a while, that there was and as a guest in a city that I went on and said, well, here's the problem. One's a veteran that's been in the league a while and puts up a good player. But that if you watched, and then when they bring it up and you watch, it's close. It's not just him. It's not like, well, he was betting. I'm not saying the quarterback was betting. I'm saying with their contracts and wanting to make more money, it just looks taking a sack looks a lot different on their stats in the money line, not the betting money line, but when they get paid, than it does throwing it away and their completion percentage going down, right, JB? Is like, those guys that will hold the ball 3 counts too long and take a sack to make you punt and lose 19 yards, yet you may have thrown it away and it's still fourth down, but now they get to flip the field because you're punting because you gave up the sack or you held it too long. Make no mistake about it. And I'm going to say this as loud or as whisper as I can for people watching and listening. Do quarterbacks think about that stuff in the game going in? I'm going to hold it longer and take a sack before I'm going to throw it away. They absolutely do. Not all of them. Some do. So it does exist. And so whoever told you that and told me that, then you go back and watch and say, why wouldn't the person throw the ball away here? And if you tell me it's not stats driven and money driven, you're wrong. I didn't say betting. That's for others. I'm talking about the quarterback thinking, man, if I'm 21-24 or 21-29, it looks a lot better. And taking 2 sacks, not that big a deal. We were going to punt anyway. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Throw the ball away. I emphasize it all the time. Just like I say, if the short open guy's there, don't pass him up to hope somebody beyond him's open. You get the ball out and you throw it on time. And I thought Caleb did a nice job of that at different layers of throws too. He hit a hitch and an outside or a quick out to his left. Like we said, the over, the dig, hit the slant, and throws the ball away, which if he can progress like that, if Ben Johnson could get in his head and tell him within the fact of not trying to be a hero, you actually become one, and just like natural ability, it'll all be about timing and emphasis. And for people who think, the Bears, yes, Ben Johnson's really good. And yes, it's going to get a lot tougher from the third preseason game and on about playing against guys that it's going to be a little different. The window closes quicker when you get a Stingley driving on it as opposed to a third-string corner who's not going to be there. But Caleb Williams looked the part for preseason. Let's put it that way. Cleveland, I think about Flacco. Flacco, they said they wanted to name their starter before this preseason game, so they head into the season with it. Flacco's going to start. No surprise to me and you. The Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, it was never going to happen. Flacco's there for one reason, to start and mentor. And if he wasn't good at the mentoring or didn't give you game as a starter or trust, they wouldn't play him, which tells me the command, the respect. He still doesn't trust a young guy to go command an offense. And quite frankly, Kevin Stefanski, it's flat ass right now. How long he can hold it and stay healthy, I got a lot of respect for that guy on that screen and Joe Flacco. And he does, as we sit today, as much as people, whether it's Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders, he gives you the best chance to win in Cleveland. Okay? Now, that may not be, as far as young players go, maybe an indictment on the league that where's the depth at. But Joe Flacco's the consistent player. You don't have to worry about him needing millions of reps to get ready. You don't have to worry about him not understanding the concept of what you're trying to get accomplished. And players respect him because he's tough. So with me, listen, one game, I'll sure do it. I heard, JB, we haven't talked about this because you had some time off and had some stuff to do. That Shedeur Sanders, I read one was Shedeur Sanders, man, after that should have been the first pick of the draft. I heard that after his first preseason game. And I'm like, you got to stop. Well, are we saying the same thing about Dylan Gabriel? Now, he threw a pick. I get all that for pick 6. But he looked solid. Shedeur looked solid. They both look solid. Neither one of them are anywhere near ready to start. And they better hope they find a way to make sure that they're both ready to be a backup.
Okay? Sean, your audience may not like to hear this, but I watched both films at DV Sport. I've got to sit back with the Cowboy remote and watch both films. Dylan Gabriel, clearly, head and shoulders, way better. He's got a better. I told people I was in Cleveland doing an interview, JB, on was it Thursday, Friday, or Thursday afternoon or Friday? It might have been. I can't either day, but before they played, I think it was Friday. Before they played the game, they were talking about how bad he looked. Didn't look good in practice when he did practice. Been hurt. I said, here's what you're going to get out of Dylan Gabriel. When he walks into the room, it's not going to look impressive. He's about 5'11". When he practices, he's going to throw the ball. It's not going to come out of his hand good all the time. It's going to wobble.
He's going to throw the ball. You're going to say, damn. I played with a guy named Jim McMahon, and Jimmy wasn't a great Pax player, but man, game time, different level. Stepped it up and tough as 100-year-old leather. Well, Dylan Gabriel is never going to wow you, so you got to know when you drafted him what you're getting and to be able to see that forest through the trees. And then you saw it. I mean, to a person. Now he has not played well. And my good buddies that I was on with in Cleveland, it hasn't looked good. I said, just hang with it. I don't know how he's going to look in the preseason, but I can tell you this: just as good as he may have, bad as he may look in practice, he's a guy that when the real bullets are flying around and he's got to perform, his football IQ is through the roof. It's going to look ugly at times, but he knows how to get it done. Regardless if that means he makes it or he's ahead of Shedeur Sanders in their mind, he is ahead on the – he's played a lot of football in college, won a lot of games in college, so he's more advanced on the mental understanding coverages right now than a lot of rookies would be, let alone Shedeur Sanders or many others. And I said when it's game time, he will – it may not look pretty, but he will help. He will get better. He will make your team better. I didn't say starting, but because he just is a gamer. So if you're judging him just by practice, which is important, I'm going to tell you now, bam, that in a game you'll like him more than you ever did on the practice field. The uniform will look a little too big on him, but he knows how to step it up when it's competition.
I broke down 9 plays.
He'd probably be the backup, JB, in my opinion.
Yeah, I broke down 9 plays that were exactly the same. So Stefanski did it on purpose. You can tell. I have them side by side.
Oh, yeah, bootlegs and everything. Absolutely. Same
play. I'm talking exact formational into the boundary, to the field, exact same play out of exact same formations. I watched it all. And I saw one play where Shedeur Sanders threw the ball on time as the play was designed to be thrown. One time out of his performance, once out of 23 throws. He threw the ball on time one time, Sean. I'm not lying. I'm not making this shit up. Dylan Gabriel threw the ball on time every time except for one time where he had to throw the ball to that pick that he threw that was, you can argue, throw the ball away, but there was 2 receivers in the same area, not to make an excuse, but the one receiver fucking alligator armed the bitch or it wouldn't have been picked.
He just has to be better at knowing not to throw it into that coverage.
Yeah, and it was a horrible route combination by the 2 guys on offense who he had some guys that were 3rd and 4th string in at the time. But other than that, operating the offense, it's night and day. He throws the ball on time, on rhythm. The ball comes out. It's not – so then he turned it to Shedeur, Sean. There wasn't one play he made. And all that the gamblers are going to see and all the prime sexuals, all they saw was 2 touchdowns that he threw. Guess what? Those 2 touchdowns were a broken play, Sean. That
one
he
to the
had
left,
guys,
one to the right.
He had guys open early too, on time. He escaped the pocket. He made a play. Kudos to him for making the play. If it was a football game, Sean and I would be grading you as making a football play. We wouldn't give a shit if the end result was a touchdown. All I'm saying is, if you watch the 2, Gabriel threw the ball on time. He knew what he was doing. Shedeur didn't know, but he made the play after. You ain't going to survive in the NFL very long doing it that way. I'm just telling you.
You know what I like about Dylan Gabriel? He played exactly like I was talking about he played. You know what? Cagey, tough. The ball, you talk about coming out on time, but he made the simple play, JB, look easy. That's where the easy play is supposed to look easy for a guy.
Layups, making layups, right?
Yes, you saw the sit. When they ran the little stop route, bam, ball 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 balls out. If you're in the gun, 1, 2, 3 balls out, no hitch. Get it to the flat on time. If you're going to buy time and scramble positive, get positive yards and get your ass down. You're no good to me hurt in those situations, especially in a preseason game. I was impressed. There's a lot of room for improvement, but I'm not so sure. I don't know if they named the depth chart because I haven't seen it. I know that with Flacco starting, the question is the backup Dylan Gabriel right now? Got to be, correct?
I would think one of them would be traded.
They got 5 guys in the mix.
I still think a guy's being traded. I think it's either one of the rookies or Pickett.
Do you think there's a chance Huntley's the backup right now?
He knows the offense.
What about Pickett?
I think Pickett's either going to be on the block or one of the rookies. But I could see him holding 4 quarterbacks this year because of the Deshaun Watson thing. I can see him holding 4 just for ransom, Sean. I'm being honest. Maybe a bad word to use, but you know what I mean by to have ransom over guys, because quarterbacks are the hottest commodity right now for several teams that I can think of pop off my head. Somebody's going to need a quarterback, and they got 5 of them. So guess what?
I hope for Flacco. I hope so.
As week 3, 4, he was named the starter an hour ago. As week 3, 4, and 5 happened, Sean, and we need something, a wideout, a pass rusher, whatever, and a quarterback's needed on another team. They got some dollars to play with, and they can trade a quarterback and get something in return. I wouldn't be shocked if they hold 4 so they can trade 1.
Oh, I think they're yeah, no, you're right, Dr. J. Huntley did not look good. Look, Huntley's best football was in Baltimore. But a lot of times it's system and knowing what you're doing, and can you rely? There's guys who may not look good, but when the game's on the line, you can trust them not to. It's not so much to make great plays for you as a backup. What it is, it's to keep them out of bad plays. I remember Denny Green, when I was backing up, Denny Green would say, Sean, just drive the bus. What he meant by that was simple. Get us home safely.
Layups.
And if you got to make a quick stop or something, or quickly make the throw, like you take your shots, we don't have a problem with that. We're not backing off the offense because we went to backup. We never took anything out because our backup, Denny believed, well, you're on scholarship. We're gonna give you what you do best, but we're gonna do what's best for this team. And he always just said, drive the bus. It was pretty simple, but drive the bus means on 3rd and 4, give me the completion. When we need a play, go make me a play. But don't put us in a bad – we always say about, spectacular plays. No. In truth, the backup's job is to go in there and try not to allow there to be a big discrepancy between the starter's performance and yours. Your teammates can trust you, but also that when you go in there and perform, that you perform to the point where you keep me still out of bad plays, that you don't, because you're not the starter, put me in harm's way because you're the backup trying to play like the starter. Now, you hope you make enough plays to win and to make those, but your goal is to keep it moving, keep this team moving, keep the trust going, but to make plays, make those plays that are necessary and protect us. Don't turn it over. Get us wins. That doesn't mean when I say don't turn it over, don't play scared, just don't play stupid was the Tom Moore message. And it's right. Take your shots when they're there. If not, get us completions, get us home safely. And safely meant you give us a chance to win. And so when you send that message to whoever the backup or starter is going to be. So Cleveland will be faced with it. The truth is, and I don't wish this on anybody, the chances that Joe Flacco plays all 17 are probably fairly, but that Cleveland offensive line underachieved last year, but they got some names. They're pretty good up front. They at least can protect it. And I would imagine that they'll be better this year than last year with the emphasis on a quarterback that's not going to move much. But it's hard to play 17 of them. So if they don't, then who? But, for Joe, I hope it's one of those where at his age, he's still playing 17 of them. But he's going to be the starter, and rightfully so. Folks, let me say it clear. Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel are not ready to be the starter. Joe Flacco's there for a reason. It's not to hold a clipboard. If he was the 3rd best player on the quarterback on the team, he would not be there. So that's why he's starting. Let me get to talking about backup positions. I'm telling you right now, you talk about JB, you've mentioned it and the validation of it, and we see it in performance. The backup the depth of the quarterback position in this league, once you're by the starter, is not very good. It's just not. There are some teams that got good ones, but it's just not good, okay? They went out and got Joe Milton. They should have never let Cooper Rush go. If something happens to Dak Prescott, they are in major trouble. I know, well, Sean, he's a backup. What happened? Well, what happened last year when you got to go to a backup? Joe Milton, JB, now when he puts on a uniform, that's a physical guy who could throw it a country mile. And he's a big, strong guy. He played at Michigan, then played at Tennessee. I know the skill set he has. But JB, just from early looks at it in preseason, I'm not judging his career and saying it's over preseason. But you better hope and pray that Dak Prescott gives you 17. Because if the Dallas Cowboys have any chance, it's not going to be with anybody but him at quarterback. If something were to happen, there is no way you're finishing the season with Joe Milton at quarterback right now. As you think, maybe 3 weeks from now it'll change. But right now, the Dallas Cowboys, it's one of those things. That offensive line better play out their ass because if they don't and Dak Prescott misses games, the Dallas Cowboys are going to be in a difficult position to learn. And, yes, Jimmy G is a really solid backup to have. He is. That's a guy who's been in huge games and performed well, and it's performed spectacular at times. But Jimmy G, hell, he's the top 3 or 4 backup in this league at his position. There's no question. But that team's not as good without Matt Stafford because you're limited on what you can do with taking shots and throwing the ball all over the lot and spinning it all over the place. So I don't know your thoughts on it. Rush should not. I mean, they should have done what they could to pay him. JB, he was worth more than they were willing to give him, and I think at times they take for granted, people do, that the backup position is just a ho hum. Well, you'll get some guys that'll tell you the second most important position on the field may very well be that guy, especially when somebody gets hurt. Joe Milton, right now, you better hope that Milton is not called upon, at least early on. And that's the case for a lot of young players, but they put a lot of stock in this. And with Trey Lance gone and now Cooper Rush gone, it's a tough situation for the Cowboys to beg to keep their starting quarterback healthy.
Yeah, the quarterback, I've been saying it for a while, Sean. I mean, look at Cooper Rush won as many games as Dak did the last couple of years when he started the games. Like the backup quarterbacks that aren't getting paid a big amount of chunk change like Dak and these starters that were overpaying who under-deliver, I would argue you can still win with those guys and make your roster better. But we know they just won't do it. We won't do it because we got to sell tickets and fill the stands, and you need that hoorah guy, even though Dak and so many others have been overpaid and under-deliver. The backup quarterback, to Sean's point, has been underdeveloped to this point.
So they're not ready when they play. They're just not.
They're not because they don't get the reps, as you know, and then they were throwing them into NFL out of college in an AR5 situation who played 14 college football games. And we think he's going to come right in the NFL and dominate.
Well,
and
remember when Mitch Trubisky was a one-year guy too, and they traded up, the Bears traded up against themselves to get him?
And then he becomes a backup, Sean, and then your career's over, and then now we're calling you a bust. We failed you, though. Like, we've been failing these guys as coaches at the high school.
We're still failing them, JB, because we're 7-on-7 heavy. These high school, it's ridiculous.
And that's why I said high school, college, and pro. We've been failing them from that level on. High school, college development has lacked for the last 10 years at least, if not 20. But for sure, the last 10 has become so heavily inundated with 7-on-7 and these micromanaging, I call street agents, who really just want to get your mom to buy a ticket to put you in their AAU team.
It's the same to those guys who go out there and say, I'll get your kid a scholarship. You ain't getting anybody a scholarship if the kid can't play. But $550 and we'll make sure that your kid gets recruited. No. There's some that are good, but there's a lot of them that are money grab. And 7-on-7 in a lot of cases is a money grab too, JB. You've been to a 7-on-7 tournament plenty of times, right? Have you watched this stuff? Reps are good, but remember this, folks. When people say rep, not all reps are good reps. And when a guy's hitching 7 times and climbing up and throwing the ball from 1 yard deep in the backfield, put it this way, a 7-on-7 coach, while I know you want to win it, the 7-on-7 coach should be getting his team ready to play, those players ready for a Friday night. Listen, the 7-on-7 championship takes a back seat to development of players, in my mind. That's why I don't coach 7-on-7 in those leagues. You get asked, JB, I'm sure you've been asked to a million times. Some of them are really good, but I'm coaching you in 7-on-7 to prepare you to kick ass on Friday nights in your high school or on Thursdays if you're a JV kid or whenever they play before the varsity game. But that's how I'm preparing. Now, if we can win it, yes. But this money grab and traveling all over the country and a guy hitching and climbing and not doing it, not throwing on time, and nobody coaching him up other than coaching wins as opposed to coaching the mechanics and how to play the position, right? 7-on-7's good, but 7-on-7's also become a detriment. And we think that's what we're playing, this 7-on-7 era where you can just sit back there and jack the ball off until the cows come home and then throw it. Doesn't work. 7-on-7, I guarantee you, has ruined more quarterbacks than it's helped in 7-on-7 leagues. That I promise you. They're sloppy. And it's an embarrassment some of the time. And it puts them going to the next level and the next level.
I love the ones that they don't even take a fucking center exchange and they take a one-step drop and they're at the line of scrimmage and then they wait 7 seconds and throw a fucking ball that would hit the center in the back of the head.
Right.
And then they run around like they threw a touchdown. Don't you love that one? I
can't stomach it, dude. That's why I quit watching. And when they tell me, Coach, when I hear this, Coach, well, he's playing with somebody you'll train, says he's playing on 7, he's going here, and 4 months have passed, and then they want you to have him ready after 2 weeks. We're going in the offseason, 7-on-7 kicks in, they paid the money, and now 3 straight months of playing all the time. They forget what got them there, not me, but just the training of the basics that you got to put in, footwork, throwing on time, simulating everything you can, not gimmicks, but playing like you'd play on a Friday. And then they come to you 3 weeks to go in the season, in the summer. Hey, Coach, can we get right? And then I'm coaching back and fixing 7-on-7 coaches' mistakes because they're so caught up in the money grab and winning the 7-on-7 and all the swag that comes with it. By the time you get them back, it's like, dude, I'm sorry. I'll do everything I can to get you right. But if you expect you should have been doing this, 7-on-7 should have been secondary to getting the right reps that you need, not just reps. And unfortunately, they don't do it. What do you think happens in New Orleans. Shook has been really good. Rattler had a really good game as well. It's a two-horse race there. The rookie who's played a lot of football and a guy who's been a bit of a – transferred a couple times, but we know the potential of Spencer Rattler. Played some last year. Does that give him an advantage coming in? Maybe a little bit. But this is a hell of a go, and that's the Rattler coming out of high school we saw weekly. Then it started out that way at Oklahoma, was going to be the first pick of the draft. Then it went to hell in a handbasket, lost a little humble pie, and had some humble pie hit him right back in the face. Goes to South Carolina, gets drafted in the mid-rounds, and now is back. When I say mid-rounds, late rounds, and then now he's got to stave off Shook in this thing, and it's a pretty good competition because both have played pretty well. Shook was, 8 of 10 in the last one and really good in the first one. Who do you think wins the job to start the season? I know who we both would like to because of our connection, but the crazy thing about it, I'm connected to both of those quarterbacks through guys who coach them, and I love them both. It's going to make for a good competition, but Kellen Moore's not getting a guy right now. It's a whole lot of game experience other than some of Rattler's last year in college experience.
Yeah, I was told a while ago that it's Spencer Rattler's job to lose. I think he held it. I think he'll start, no doubt.
That performance has to give him the go, right? At least on the opening day of the season, even though Shook's played well.
Shook struggled a little bit. I saw with the ones, and that's what I wanted to see. I'm glad they started him yesterday. I got to see him a little bit. I watched him just a little bit, and I thought he struggled a little bit on some simple things, like you said, layups. I thought he missed a couple things that are just you can't miss if you're competing for a starting spot. And then Spencer comes in and throws for 200 and something yards like this, and I was like,
he's got such great ability of potential. JV really does.
Yeah. So I mean. I think it's a foregone conclusion. It's Spencer Rattler's job to lose again once the season goes. So I think it's his start. He'll start, and I think it'll be his job to lose as the season goes along. And I like how he finished the season last year, and now I like Kellen Moore with him this year. So I think
he's going to have a better opportunity play caller wise with Kellen Moore than he had last year as a rookie. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I think he'll be good in a couple of years though.
Let's get to the one here. Finish on this team here. Dare would you start Jackson Dart if you're Brian Dable? Your career, your coaching contract's on the line. If you had to make a decision, if you're going to say if you're going to go 7-10 or 6-11, if that was what you knew you were going to do, and you could do it with either within a game or two, that all three quarterbacks that are in competition there, Jameis is a backup, obviously, but all three that are there, the big three that we're talking about, would you, and he's had a hell of a start to his, if we're talking the best preseason quarterback as far as rookies go so far has been Jackson Dart, and it's not close. It is not close. Rookie quarterbacks get an opportunity. I know it's preseason, but, we've seen Russell Wilson struggle at times and play well at times. We've seen you're looking for a dynamic playmaker, and that's exactly what Dart was at Ole Miss. So with that in mind, do you have the balls to start him from day one in a city like New York that's hard on quarterbacks, on a team that's not great but has some potential, with two veterans that have been there? And I wonder how Russ Wilson's handling the chatter of Jackson Dart. People are now they're starting to mention, is he going to start the opener? And if Brian Daboll's considering it, it tells me that he's not so overly comfortable with the guys that are already, with the veterans. And that to me is a problem if you're looking for a starting quarterback that's a veteran. Honestly, if you haven't separated yourself by now as the two veterans and you're considering starting this guy who came in as the 3, then you're telling me he's a more dynamic performer than the other two. But his performance says I got to give him a deeper look, even though it's preseason.
I don't start him, and this is why.
Why are you afraid that he's not going to play well and then he'll lose confidence? Are you afraid that let Russell Wilson go through to see if Russell can handle the early season just to gear him up and see what the intensity is like? What are we worried about the giving it to Jackson Dart?
Here's the thing I got the Giants being a much better football team than anyone out there thinks. I don't know why people
You're a Daboll fan. You think they'll be better. You think they'll be closer to the playoff year than this last year.
Oh, fuck yeah. And here's why. Number one, they got a top-tier, top-5 wide receiver. You got better in the draft, and their D-line, I would match up against anyone in football right now. I'm just telling you, their D-line reminds me of the Super Bowl champion team that beat the undefeated New England Patriots. and they might be young. They're younger.
The names might not be as well known and bigger, but their performance is pretty solid.
But they could be in about 4 or 5 years. So that team right there, projection wise, I'm projecting that D line right there is going to be. They're going to give Washington Commanders game 1 some fits. I'm just telling you right now, or whoever they play. They're going to give them some fits, and people aren't expecting this team to be as good as they are. Their defense is going to play some shutout football for a while, and all their offense has to do is manage. And I think Daboll starts Russell Wilson to show everyone, the team, I mean, if Russell Wilson goes out here and turns the fucking football over and fucking fumbles it and throws picks, then and our defense is playing as well as it is.
You're going to let Russell Wilson play his way out of it if that happens. Not wish for it, but that's what you think is going to happen.
And the second part of it is because I have a guy who's an energy spark plug coming off the bench that's going to just get the guys, woo, and we want this guy anyway.
It's a shot of energy drink is what you're saying.
Let's just say that they are, you know how you hear whispers in the locker room? Let's just say there are whispers. And then you hold off on them. Because remember, how good are fucking rookies in this league unless you're going to a perfect program like a Jaden Daniels or a CJ? How many years have we seen?
Roethlisberger got to go to Pittsburgh, right?
I mean, there's a handful we've seen over the last 50 years, Sean. It's not like these things fall off trees. These are anomalies, and we can name 5 or 10 maybe in the last 50 years that have came in as a rookie and done well and succeeded. But the team also was a very well put together team at the right time. I don't know if this team's ready to make a playoff push, but I think the team's a lot better than people think. And I think
they'll disrupt the picture in the East, though.
I do. I
don't think you're far off. I still think Russ Wilson will open the season for your reasons. And the fact that if things go to hell in a handbasket early, Russell should be better prepared to handle them. But I will tell you this.
And I still think Jameis number 2, Sean. I still think Jameis is
number 2. Regardless of who the starter is, Winston's going to be the backup.
Yeah.
Well, there's no doubt. I'm with you 100%. That energy you're talking about now, of all the 3, the most dynamic talent is Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
But seeing it, and it'll be good for him to sit back and watch. Now, if Russ plays well and staves off the competition, great. He's been in, and he should because he's seen enough football. But they start out 1-2, and the reason they're losing is the quarterback position is not elevating. That change will be made in the first month if that happens, JB. You and I both know it. Because Daboll, if he goes out there and wins 5 games, he's more than likely not going to be coaching them next year. So this is – and when you could have drafted somebody else but Jackson Dart, they still took Jackson Dart, which tells you how the regard they hold him in. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think the Giants roster is better than people think too. And remember this with what Jackson Dart's doing is Dr. J and I wanted to say the same thing. Neighbors haven't been on the field. They're still preserving his health. So that's the receiver you're talking about. It's a dynamic playmaking receiver, just like the quarterback and Jackson Dart. But Russ, I think it's going to go Russ, Jameis, Jackson Dart, and they would leapfrog Jameis to start Jackson Dart. But Jackson Dart will be Jameis will be the backup regardless of who the starter is. How's that? Does that make sense? I believe that's going to happen. It's going to be fun. Now we head into third preseason game. We're going to preserve your starters and probably not get them a lot of work. I still would like to see Caleb. You're going to get into it. I still would like to see Caleb Williams and a few of these other guys, veterans, get a little more work that need it, wouldn't you? Hell, Darnold was sharp last week, wasn't he? JB, did you see him? He just wasn't a lot, but it feels like his confidence looks like it was when he was at Southern Cal.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal is as far as what do they got? One more game or no? Are they done?
One more. We're on the preseason week 3 is next, and then we'll take the week off, and then you'll go play.
Some are done, though. I think the Chargers are done already.
But did the Chargers – well, the question is, do they get a 4th one because they played in the Hall of Fame game, or does that count as 3? It used to be if you played 4 plus the Hall of Fame game. So I can while you're talking about that, I'm going to look at this schedule. And
I'm pretty sure it's over. They're done because they played the Rams the other day as their LA rival game, and that's it. It's over. I'm pretty sure. If I could be wrong, but I've heard they're done.
Yeah, well, the way the changes go with preseason, dude, I'm with you after all this stuff. Let's see. In NFL, here's how we go for preseason week 3. Everybody plays. You said the Chargers. Let me see the Chargers.
I think there's a few teams that are done. Whoever played
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Let's see.
Yeah.
2, 4.
Whoever played in the Hall of Fame is done.
12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. No. That's a bonus game. When you decide to play in it, the Chargers play the 49ers in San. So that's it. Everybody plays 3 games. Chargers, and who'd they play in that game? I can't even remember. Was it Washington? It wasn't Washington, was it?
No, it
Who'd
was
they play in the Hall of Fame game?
49ers, or I don't remember. Shit, I don't know.
Did they play the Giants?
The Bears?
Was it the Bears?
That
was it. Yes. Was it the Bears? Hall of Fame game. I'll tell you right now, it was. It was the Chargers and no. Hall of Fame game was Chargers and Lions. There you go. Chargers and Lions, same division.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Chargers play 4 games. The Lions will play 4 games, and the rest will play 3. The Hall of Fame games, it's a bonus game. So you get an extra look at your guys because of the game you chose to play in. Yes. So we got 1 more week of it, but there are some starters that it used to be the 3rd game of the 4 games, JB. That's the one you saw most of the starters when I was playing. The 4th game was a little bit even, but you still played to keep that rhythm going in because you were going to get 2 weeks off before you started the season. So you wanted to get them fresh, and not a lot, but a series or 2 to get them out. And I think there's a couple that need it. But you're going to guys like Rodgers and the rest of them are not going to see an ounce of football in game 3.
There's a game tonight, isn't there?
There is Monday night. Buffalo plays tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Buffalo played yesterday. Got whacked.
Oh, okay. Cincinnati play tonight? Is it Cincinnati?
I don't know. I don't watch this shit.
I don't, like I said, dude, if you're asking me the preseason
It's so hard to watch.
Bengals and Commanders. Yeah. So it's Washington and Cincinnati at 7 tonight on ESPN.
But then there's a bye, and then there's like a fucking bye now, right? Or something.
There'll be a week off.
Yeah.
A week off, and then they'll get back into the first week of the regular season, which will be Thursday the 4th, I believe, is the first game, September 4th on Thursday night. Now, college football starts next week, the real stuff. Iowa State and Kansas State play in Dublin. So, yeah. So there it is. So 3 games. So this is the last one. So you're going to – right now you're trying to – you probably know what, 95% of your roster, there's a guy or 2 that are battling to come on. Dr. Dave Buffalo didn't play yesterday. They didn't play well enough to play, but they don't care about that. Neither do I about the score, but how they got there. They look like ass, but that's okay. That's why it's a preseason. But 1 more week, then a week off, and then we're at it Thursday of that first week.
Yeah.
What's the biggest storyline? Is the biggest storyline is the is the Giants quarterback situation a bigger storyline now? Forget the hype of Shador. Is the biggest quarterback competition right now in the NFL in New York?
I mean, I think the
competition. Just who's is it? Is there any? I mean, New Orleans and is it New Orleans and the Giants, or do we think New Orleans is set and it's just a formality?
I think all
both
this
of them are set.
I think it's all hoopla. I think you and I know this is all bullshit. This is the media now that run with their cell phones that push this narrative. I don't think it was ever in doubt in Cleveland. I don't think it's ever been.
Clicks. Yeah. Oh, Flacco was starting from day one, dude. That was
it's not a doubt in New York either. Dayball's not starting a fucking rookie. There's just no way. Not yet. Not until he knows his team is over. It's over, and then he'll say, management, do I got a year or 2 or not? Dable's that guy. Like, he'll go and say, are you firing me or not? Let me know, because I got to know how I'm going to play my cards here for the organization moving forward.
He's a no-nonsense tough guy. There's no question about it.
Because if it makes sense for me going forward and we don't have shit to gain, then I'm going to play Jackson Dart, and I'm going to start fucking getting him ready, right? If not, and we got a real shot and we start this thing off 4-1, 5-2, and Russell's playing well.
See, I know there's no doubt. And I think that the Browns, even though we knew, the Browns did the right thing by announcing it now instead of letting all that nonsense and the constant chatter fester. And, is this guy better than this guy? No, Flacco's starting. Let's stop that. Let's talk about the team as opposed to who's my quarterback. Yes, the Colts situation is still an open question. I don't know, man. I have a hard time.
I don't think that's open either. I don't think that's open either.
Who do you think starting?
Daniel Jones.
Oh, see, I think it's no brainer. He's starting as well. I think that they've, I don't want to say checked out, even though you got to cover your ass with Anthony Richardson. Daniel Jones gives you a better chance to win, period, right now. And yes, the rosters are cut down to 53 this week, as you said.
You can't start AR5, John. It makes zero sense to start AR5 and bring Daniel Jones as your energy plug. It's the other way around. You need to bring AR5 in and run some triple and bring some excitement.
I can put a couple packages in for him a game, but Daniel Jones should be the starter there. He gives you a better chance to win. Unfortunately,
I think AR5 has shown who he is in the NFL, and unfortunately, this is going to probably create a musical chairs in the similar fashion as Justin Fields and he'll probably be on 3 teams in the next 2 years. And that's just what it is. If he's even in the league, I'm gonna be honest.
He's just not an accurate passer.
Well, he's not. He just don't know what he's looking at. I mean, he's a lot of things going on against.
I think most teams know who they're going to start unless something happens at that position. I think we both know who gives you the best chance to win to start. But there's about 4 or 5 of those jobs that are not secure enough for you to get too comfortable if you're a veteran starter, and we know exactly who we're talking about. Great stuff, man. Oh, real quick. Did you know that Joy Reid said that the white boy, you've never invented anything, JB? I want you to go watch that one. You comment on it later in the week. She went on the talk show and said, Joy Reid, that MSNBC that was fired from MSNBC. I was just laughing because I figured you'd be fired up about it. That, hey, we haven't invented anything. Not music, mood, nothing.
Really?
Nothing. Oh, yeah. Never invented anything.
Sean, I'm so tired of these fucking people talking, man. I swear to God, we got to hit the lotto or something so I can get up.
I think it's hilarious. So, hey, never, brother. Never. Just so you know.
I got to get off social media, man.
So I want you to go on there when we're done and you Google it or go on Twitter and say, put that name in Joy Reid and say, okay. Never. You've never invented anything, JB. Okay. Never. And by the way, we will this week get it back, discuss Michigan. Boy, did they get off. Come on. No disrespect, Michigan fans, but you want to talk about legalized theft. You know what I would do?
And you did what all you do in SC? SC got fucked in.
No, right. You know what I would do? If you want, this is, listen, it's not, I'm not saying, I'm not, con, I mean, where I'm pro or con either way. I love Harbaugh when he was there, and I love Michigan football. I love their uniforms, everything about it. I've never been to the big house, and I want to go. But if you were going to suspend Coach Moore, if you were going to suspend him, and we're going to give him games 3 and 4 this year, we're pushing 2026 to next year. Do you know what I would do if you really – and with $20 million, listen, there's an alumni that can walk in and write the check. The $20 million is not going to affect the University of Michigan one bit. But, you want to put a stop to the cheating or, stealing signals and all that. You really want to punish them? Guess what game? I'm choosing the suspension as the NC2A, okay? I'm choosing it. And guess what game he has to sit? It's $20 million worth.
Sean, it's a
you don't get to sit Slippery Rock. You get to sit Ohio State game. Now you want to start punishing people and tell them to stay straight, even though it's so hypocritical, not in this case, but in most cases, they'll suspend you for one thing and then encourage the other, and one's worse than the other, and that's the one they encourage. Yet, here we are. Nothing. Forget just Michigan. It could be Lincoln Riley and SC could have done it. It could be Ryan Day. My point is, what kind of suspension is it? And the only game that really matters is Nebraska. I think Michigan's going to Nebraska while the head coach is suspended. Well, when we saw Harbaugh suspended, coach went in there and did a hell of a job, and they kept winning. So you know what, though? But they didn't have to miss certain games. If you really want to make an impact, you joke of the governing body in NC2A, the $20 million is fine. But if you want to impact the team, the players will never know the difference between the 20 and 100 million that you find the school. But here's what I would say. Yes, and there you go, Doctor. That's exactly my point. He was suspended for what was it, the last few games heading into the playoff, but they let him coach, I think, after that. It feels like that was like light years away. But they still beat Ohio State, which led to the Ryan Day constant where people were saying, is he ever going to win beat Michigan and win a national title? And he squelched that this past year. But you think about it, JB, big time. You think about it, he missed that game and Michigan still won. So we'd see. But if you really want, if it's a one-game punishment, shouldn't you say, well, here's the game that you're going to miss? Make it a big game that's impactful. If you really want to impact, because come on, man, you're beating some non-conference team. You're going to hammer them, no matter who the coach is.
Right? I just think it's a joke. He shouldn't even be suspended at all. This is not
even. That's why I said it's the hypocrisy of it. But my point is, it's not against Michigan. It's just against the whole system. The system sucks. But this is a suspension because on the money side. But in truth, what are you losing? Okay, in the first game, they're going to pick a game in 2026 where it's going to be an early season non-impact game, and Michigan's going to win that one too. So that's what I'm saying. It's just a constant joke, and the NC2A's got minimal power, if any, and we know that both the SEC and Big Ten have more power. So good that the coach gets to coach and only misses 2 games this year and misses 1 in 2026 and cost him $20 million. But There's a lot of bodies involved in that. But if you really want to hit them, forget any situation where you got to suspend a coach, make it hurt, make it sting, make it to the point where you got to make sure that they can step up their game against a good team, not Tennessee Chattanooga. No disrespect to Tennessee Chattanooga or, the College of Charleston. I don't even know if they have a football team. You get my point. So we got that to talk. Also, we're in JB, I want to hit this if we get a chance later in the week for your vacation or after your vacation, that idea, because it's not that time sensitive. We are in, you heard Brian Kelly talking to his agent on the phone. You saw that video. We are in a point in time when the player and coaches at two schools where a kid wants to transfer, the agent represents all three. I'm telling you, that's coming down the pike. The agent represents the coach that he's playing for, the place or that they're recruiting, or the place he wants to transfer to for extra NIL money. And the coach that he's going to transfer to is also a client of the agent, meaning not the Brian Kelly situation, but in his situation. And the conflict of it, and the agent's going to get paid from all three, and that's including the player. Is there not a direct conflict of interest? That's why this NIL, if we don't control it, dude, I don't know how we're going to do it now to try and put a doggone dam up, but it's going to be difficult to stop.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's a shit show already, Sean. It's about to, and they're gonna add more games and all this shit. I'm getting real close to not watching this.
Didn't the University of Michigan also? Didn't they say they wanted 28 teams in the playoff? Did I see that today?
Yeah, it's a fucking
one more teams.
I called this shit 2 years ago, but what do I know?
The 16th teams never win in a national title if we ever get to 16. Just so you know, they're not winning 4 straight games. Is that what it was? 16. It's gets you down to 8. 8 gets you down to 4. 4 gets you down to 2. 2. Yeah. What?
It's a joke, Sean.
So we will discuss hardcore NC2A stuff as the college football season starts next week. Chipper Jones again later this week. So JB, you're off tomorrow, right? Got stuff to do?
Yeah, I got to fucking handle a bunch of different stuff with that situation I got going, and then I got to pull that. My only week off, I got to pull that damn boat out of the water. All my power went out on my right side of my fucking always something in the boat. So my mechanic only day is that he can see me too. So
plus it's vacation. I get it. So if you get a day in there where they do it,
yeah, I don't do shit. If I wasn't doing shit, I would stay here because I don't go nowhere. But the problem is this is my only last week off to get the shit done before football season Monday. So
a lot of stuff to get handled. So we'll hit the Michigan thing harder. Will Notre Dame ever win another national championship? Well, they're in one, but to win it, good question. Good stuff at covering the depth, but the truth is, folks, see it through the trees. It's rare. It's rare when there's a veteran. For these quarterback situations, there's probably less competition than you think, but we've been able to see some exciting plays and performances by some of these young fellows, whether it's first or second year. And then once we get by this last preseason game, then it's nut-cutting time. We get to watch the real stuff fly on Thursday the 4th. We'll have a lot of deep dive this week into college, NFL, and Major League Baseball. And he's also a football fan. Chipper Jones. It'll either be Wednesday or Thursday. I think we're solidifying Wednesday if there's a change, but it'll be one of those 2 days. And Chipper will be on here, and we will get after it. And if you follow him, he ain't afraid to talk about it. I can tell you that. Look forward to it. JB, good stuff, my man. And you have a good week. Something changes, let me know. Just fill me in on your schedule, and we'll go from there and enjoy what little of vacation you have left, brother, before this season starts.
Nah, I appreciate it, brother. I'll let you know. I'll hit you up later on.
You got it. Triple E and JB. Triple E, great stuff. And for Laura behind the scenes, we're always appreciative. And for you guys, thank you. Just think, we're going to actually, instead of all the speculation and BS we got to talk about leading in, the great thing about games is we actually have stuff to talk about. It matters. It isn't prediction and hot take business and, this guy is and this guy isn't. It'll settle in that the real football players, meaning those guys who are going to impact your team, the 53, not that the other guys aren't real football players, but that are going to impact your team. At the end of this week, we'll get an idea who those are and how it applies when we open the season on Thursday the 4th. Appreciate you. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy, and thank you for being a part of Unpaved.